This is Pauly D from On the Table. This season we got a brand new show called Wisconsin Grilling 116, all up in your grill. Everything we do for this show is going to be with a Wisconsin feel, Wisconsin take. So we're going to introduce our ingredients for today. Thanks to Logley's, we got some awesome burgers. We've got, of course, our ground beef here. We've got red onions already pre-sliced and chopped. Cheddar cheese, our Gonzola cheese as well, kind of like almost like a blue cheese. All these ingredients go together, mixed in to this burger, and they make the most phenomenal burger you've ever had. They're called Chef Mignon Burger. Before we actually eat the burgers, we're gonna make some hors d'oeuvres. And what we got here, we take our white mushrooms and we cut them out in the middle, and we cut our Habarti cheese into squares, and we put them in there with some Parmesan cheese. Cook those also on the grill, which we'll get to. Makes for a great appetizer. So we're gonna make our form of what we'll call Wisconsin Jambalaya. We're gonna take the New Orleans Johnsonville sausages, mix them with our staple Johnsonville beer and bratwurst and chicken, and we're gonna make an awesome rice dish with it, and it's gonna include some chicken. So we're gonna cook some chicken and our gourmet burgers today. We also have to have something else to go with it, the staple of summer. We're gonna have corn on the cob. We're gonna show you how to cook these, keep them moist and not burn them. We don't have anything special. We're not going to use a gas grill that's worth $5,000 like some people like to show off. We're not going to use a smoker of any type. This is what we're using, the staple Weber Black Circle Grill. We can make the best stuff on here. You go to Miller Park and Stew, people are cooking. They're cooking on Weber's, people. And after we're done using the Weber grill, we're going to come down here and we're going to use a wood fire grill. We're going to cook this down till it's got just enough coals, and we're going to use a cast iron skillet, and we're going to make the best Wisconsin-style jambalaya on the planet. So it'll be something to watch for. We've got that coming up. So once you put your charcoal in here, no matter what kind you have, and it just depends on the type of day it is. If it's a warm day and you want to spend a lot of time grilling, which people in the South, they pride themselves on grilling, and I like to say in Wisconsin we do too. So if you want to spend a long time grilling and spend the whole day, you'd want to take your coals, which I do often. I spend a lot of time grilling. So, you would want to spread them out, kind of something like in this fashion, okay? I might not even use that many coals if I'm going to spend a long day, because what we'll do is maybe use half these coals and cook maybe one of the gourmet burgers we're going to cook today. Maybe we'll cook one or two at a time in a slow cook, so we don't have to keep an eye on it for so long. However, you do want to make sure you cover most of the inside of the grill, so that way, once you put your grate on top, you have all the heat covered. You don't want to put a small thing of coals in there, and then all of a sudden you have a pork chop or a steak or something over here, and all of a sudden next thing you know, you've got something here that's burnt, and over here it's not even cooked. So then you got 6 people waiting to eat, and one person gets to eat, the rest get to eat nothing. Or else one person gets burnt food, the rest gets something that's good. And here we go, folks. The one thing you also want to do when you light these, you want to take into consideration the wind. Now it looks like the wind is blowing out of the northeast. So we want to make sure we cover, this is probably the best place to light it is right over here, because then it will all blow this way. So you don't want to light it over here if the wind's blowing this way, because then you'll never get your flame going back this way. So take into account the wind, and as soon as you get your coals on there and get a flame, you want to do this, because the way we do it in Wisconsin, we don't need to come out and scrape the thing. We get a little flavor from the stuff that's left over from the week before, right, Mike? Get the best flavor, and what we do is we'll heat it up and maybe cook off the dirty stuff, because once you heat certain things to a certain temperature, then it's not bad for you anymore. So we want to cook it hot, but we also want to keep the leftover garbage from before, because it all adds flavor. You think about going to Prime Quarter. If you go there at the end of the night, you get all the good leftover grease and slop from the steaks from earlier in the night. So this is why you want to burn this off right away. Put the grate on the coals while it's got a fire going. Now we've got 1 thing of red onions to go with 4 pounds of meat, because we're expecting a big old feast. So we got 4 pounds. Here's another thing of red onions. Man, can you smell that or what? That is outstanding. Whew. You don't want to have this inside, people, because that'll make it smell like you haven't taken a shower in a week. So what we want to do is we want to take and dump that in there. There's one. Dump that in there. There's two. Woo! Here's our cheddar cheese. And our Gorgonzola cheese. Boy, this adds a great flavor to it, uniqueness. So these are called Chef Mignon burgers, people, or folks. Good looking stuff. Almost even a little greenness to it, which is good. Look at that, right down in there. Outstanding. Get every little bit you can out of there, people. Now we got stuff blowing all over. Now we've got that going for you. Now what you got to do is you got to take it in there and get your hands in there and get yourself dirty and mix it all up. People. Now we're talking. It'll take a minute or so. We'll get this in there. The better you got it mixed up, the more even the flavors will be. A lot of protein in here. If you're on the Atkins diet, see that? We got to make sure we get that all mixed in because some of it wasn't mixed in very good. This takes a couple minutes. Just got to be patient and mix it all in there. You can see here, folks, we've got balls from, since it's summertime, we got balls from Wrigley Field and Miller Park, foul balls. One of them was from opening day. So now we're ready to make the burgers up. We're going to go over here real quick, Mike, and we're going to check on our coals. It's cold out today anyway, so we're going to heat it up a little bit. We're getting real close. What you want to do, you don't want to put the stuff on too early. If you put it on before it's too white, you get the taste of, basically, of burning wood and coal and lighter fluid and kind of a icky smoke flavor. So you want to make sure you wait on that. Now I've started to grill our chicken breasts, which are going to be part of our wood fire skillet in the end when we're going to make our Wisconsin jambalaya. So I haven't seasoned it yet. And what I want to do, since this was frozen chicken, I wanted to get it loosened up a little bit so the chicken itself would soak in the seasoning, because you don't want to dump seasoning on frozen chicken so much, because then you'll lose some when you flip it over. So you got two really good kinds of seasoning. You want to be liberal with the seasoning because some of it will fall off, and it's just great once it's mixed in with something. So we'll cook that, and we'll go back up here and prepare our appetizers, our cheese mushrooms. All right, so we've mixed our Chef Mignon burgers. The longer they sit, the better they get. So that's our main course. We're also going to prepare our appetizers. Now what we can do here, it's very simple. We've got our Habarti cheese, our knife to cut some of that, and some mushrooms. Now what you do with this is you take this, you don't need any tool. You can just take your finger, just pull it out right there, and if it doesn't fall on the thing, you can put it back in there, and we're going to use that later. So we'll take one more just to show you. We'll take it, pull the middle out, put the leftover back in there, which we're going to use. Now you take some Habarti cheese, and we'll cut it nice and thin, put it on the plate, cut it into smaller pieces, and cut it a long way once. And then we bury the cheese in here. Since that was a bigger mushroom, we'll do one more little slice for the other piece. Rule of thumb, it's always better to have more than less when you're cooking. You can always share it, save it, whatever you want to do. That's a little bit better right there. We got that, and we'll cut it down the middle. Put them in this mushroom here. Remember, the more you can shove in there, the better. They'll melt down a little bit. Some left for there. So that's how you do it. You can make as many as you want, add them to our tray, and there we have it. So we'll let the chicken cook for another minute. We'll use these later. And while we're waiting to do that, what we want to do is you wash your corn, and we want to have it perfect. If at all costs, you want to avoid having burnt corn. So you get some kind of tin foil, just wrap it right up. And I'm going to wrap all three, and then we'll throw them on there. But what you want to do is things like corn and baked potatoes, unless you cook them somewhat ahead of time, you want to get those on the grill right away. Right away, people, because these things take a long time to cook, especially the potatoes. And with the corn silk on there, they were washed, and with the tin foil, usually you can get away with not burning them. So as soon as you get this started, which we did earlier, you'll want to get these on right away, which you didn't do. And this goes along with the grilling. If you want to do it all day, you'll need to add more coals. So we're going to need to add more coals here shortly, but we've got that going right there. And that's pretty much what we want to do for now. I will flip the chicken, and when we come back after our break, we'll be preparing the burgers, and those will go on the grill, and we'll have more coals. We'll have a nice fresh fire going. And at the same time, you can see our wood fire grill. See, we're getting the white coals, and eventually we'll get a nice spattering of coals to cook on our skillet. So we're moving right along step by step. Next step, we're going to put our burgers together and put them on the grill. So we've got ourselves some pre-made here. I just made these two. Now, one secret that you want to do for grilling is since the meat comes together when it loses the fat, you want to press it in the middle, almost all the way through, but not totally. Not a hole in it, but you want to push it down. Now, I don't know if any of you have eaten at White Castle, but they actually cut holes in the burgers, and then by the time they cook them, they cook together. So here, I'll show you this one. So I got that. You still want to try to keep it together. See, it's still hard with a lot of ingredients. You push it way down in there. See, you got that. Then when it cooks together, it comes together. It thickens up and it closes up. So you want to do that. Because you don't want to have a burger that's that big and that fat. Some season on our stuff. Apply. I don't want to use the word liberally too much, but apply, a lot. Remember, we've got two kinds. There's one, and here's another rub, and just the nice mess of cooking. The mess of cooking leads to beauty in the end when your taste buds will taste nothing like this. I tell you, I wish you could all taste this. About one more minute, and this is the thing with our jambalaya, Wisconsin style. We don't necessarily have to have this 100% done because we're gonna cook it also on the wood fire grill, so in the skillet. So we're just about done with this. It looks beautiful, people. Doesn't it look just beautiful? And remember, if anything gets fairly dry, we always have our backup. This is our seasoning. This is our moisturizer, our flavor enhancer. It's all right here. That's what makes us special, right, Mike? Up here in Wisconsin. Now I can even cheat a little bit on this and see what we got in the middle. Yeah, it still needs to cook. All right, now that we're done preparing our gourmet chef mignon burgers, we got our appetizers, our Habarti mushrooms ready to go. We've had our corn cooking. Remember to have your corn put on very first, and your baked potatoes if you have them. We've added coals and to keep our grilling going. We're just about done here with our chicken. You can see we're getting great smoke color on our chicken. And we want this to be about 90% done because these are going to go right into the cast iron skillet, which will then go on to our wood fire flame, which is going to cook up the most amazing smoked Wisconsin, we call it our new recipe, one and only right here, you heard it first, Wisconsin jambalaya. So we're going to add our two different kinds of Wisconsin sausage and chicken, so the chicken's going in for that. We are just about done. You can see we're getting our smoke on the back. Now with the corn, when you make the corn, you want to turn it 1/4 turn each time you turn it. So you give it, depending on the heat of your coals, you want to go maybe every 10 minutes or so. So you take it same direction. I'm turning it to the right 1/4, turning our corn to the right 1/4. Sometimes if the corn isn't formed perfect, you might have a little bit of a little trouble getting it to stay, but you'll get it close. There, that was easy. That was a 1/4 turn right there. So I'm going to cut in and cheat a little bit just to see how close we are because this is going into the skillet. We're getting real close, so this is going to probably be done as far as our purposes right now. If this was your chicken, I wouldn't be touching it too much like that. But so what we're going to do is take our Mike, if you want to follow me here, and we're going to take our cast iron skillet. We're going to put our chicken in here for now, and we will be cutting this and slicing and dicing our chicken. So we're going to keep that right here. And as soon as we did that, now we're going to do, we don't want to get caught on our chair. Remember our white mushrooms with Habarti cheese? It's time to put those on. These are just a great appetizer. They'll make your mouth water. It tastes like steak almost without the meat, which is a great thing for some people. Now with these, what you want to do, depending on how hungry you are, you'll probably want to put the top on, because the top will convect all the heat and then it'll melt this cheese in a matter of a couple minutes. So let's put the top on just for this. We'll leave that and we'll let things cook, and we'll let things sit for a minute, Wisconsin style, while we wait. This is what we do. We sit here and we wait for things to cook, and the smells are free, aren't they, Mike? And you can sit here and smell free all day, and I'll tell you, I could probably be full off the smells. It's so good. So we're going to cook for a minute and we'll be back. All right, you can see we're getting close here. The Habarti cheese is melting. It's just, stuff looks beautiful. I'm actually going to try one. It's probably not even completely done. Oh my goodness. Wait till you try this, brother. Wait till people back home get to try this when they get out here and get to sit down and see this firsthand. What we're going to do, so we can have all this together, because you do want this as the appetizer to be first. I'm going to remove this from the grill, and then we're going to start on the red meat. The stuff that will put, you want the endorphins to go nuts. People's endorphins are going to go nuts when they start smelling the filet mignon. So I'm going to take this off. This is how we do it Wisconsin style. We don't worry about getting burned. We just take the stuff right off, because we probably will get burned doing this. We're going to take this off, and I will shortly be putting the filet mignon burgers on the grill, and we're going to go from there. Now we're back for the main course. We've got our chef mignon burgers. You saw it prepared from start to finish. We put our Gonzola cheese. What's the name of that? Garziola cheese. Cheddar cheese, red onions, just amazing. We got our seasoning, fresh ground beef. I'm gonna go one at a time here. And it's kind of a little dilemma as far as how to cook these, because I'm gonna move these a little bit. I know we said quarter turns, but once you cook these a little bit, you start to get the cheese to melt, and then sometimes the cheese and the product will go down below the grate, and then you lose it. And you definitely want to keep all the features of them being quote-unquote gourmet burgers. So what I tend to do a lot of times is I tend to grill them up, get the grill burns on them, get the smoke flavor, flip them once, and then a lot of times we'll put tin foil down so we don't lose any cheese or anything. So we'll try a little of each. I've had success both ways. Sometimes it'll stick too much to the tin foil, so we'll try one, at least one on tin foil, and the rest we'll let them go and hope for the best that we don't lose too much of the product down into the coals. All right, so as we prepare for our open flame wood fire grill and the skillet on the flame, just like the old West and the cowboys did, we're going to take our chicken that we just took off the grill, and we're going to start to cut this up, because eventually this is going to go in here with our rice and our heat mixture and our Cajun Wisconsin style jambalaya. But this is going to have to cook separately. Eventually this will go in here like this. When you really have a sharp knife, and this is a Chicago cutlery, it's just a beautiful thing to do, and to see is cutting right through this sucker just like a hot knife through butter. Then put this over here. The smallest amount of times you can spin this, the better, and you get a more even cut. So then we cut this way. So remember earlier I said that the the seared marks on the chicken would be absolutely beautiful in this, especially when it cooks in the soup and the jambalaya mixture. Now we have all of our beautifully seasoned dry rub chicken. That will eventually go from there into here. And we will have our wood fire 100% ready to cook in a matter of minutes. So when we come back from our next break, we should have our Chef Mignon burgers ready to go and our wood fire grill ready to go for the skillet. So we're getting close on our Chef Mignon burgers. Oh, smell that, Wisconsin. Smell the beauty of our beautiful cows, whether they provide us with milk or whether they provide us with red meat, and whether the beer makes it better. You can only find out unless you come and try it. So I think we're getting close. We're gonna put one of these on our plate. I'm gonna take our plate here and we're gonna give the thinnest one a shot. Let's take a little piece. That's what we'll do. So you can see that, people. Woo! Now, we'll take a look at that. Know what I'm gonna do? Let's take out my retainer so I can have a little bite of that. Oh my goodness. A1 okay, people. This is what you strive for. Look at that. Look at the husk or the gorgonzola cheese in there. Look at it all over there. You got the onions mixed in there. That's how we slop it in Wisconsin. Beautiful. It's time to eat the burgers. It's time to eat our mushrooms. So when we come back, we'll be sitting down having our burgers, and then we'll be about ready to transfer to the wood fire. So we'll be back. All right, now the final piece of the puzzle for today's meal, and it shows you that we cook on the Weber grill and we're cooking on an open wood fire. So if you're ever trapped somewhere out camping and you want to use your skillet, this is a great thing to be able to do. Now notice, we cooked the chicken on the Weber grill earlier. I just got done slicing up mushrooms. And one thing with mushrooms, you don't want to cut them too small. Really, you want to cut them either in half or in no more than 3 pieces, even the bigger ones. The seasoning you see on there is a combination of the steak stuff we put on there, but also it's a fajita seasoning that goes special with the chicken that we're about to add. So there's a fajita seasoning on there. We got onions chopped up, and we've also got our sausages, our Wisconsin style. We've got the Johnsonville brats, and we also got the Johnsonville Aurelio sausage. That's the New Orleans style sausage they use in jambalaya, but we've added not only our Wisconsin Johnsonville brat to the mix, but we've got chicken, and of course we've got a little Miller Lite. So we put that in there. We've got our beautiful seasoned dry rub chicken breasts. We need to stir this in just a little bit before we add. See, in Wisconsin we don't waste food, so I eat that. And we just cleaned the table, didn't we, Mike? So it should be clean. So we start to mix that up. We will probably lose a little bit here and there. Now we take this. This is going to be part of our mixture of soup to rice. What you usually do is you put the exact amount of water you put the same amount of rice. But I'm going to do just a little less because I'm going to have to add more water anyway. So I had a full cup. That's about what I usually fill. Usually I empty my soup and then I fill it with rice and water to make it exact, but this is pretty much exact. So as of right now, I've got the right mixture of water and rice, but I'm going to need more because I've got my cream of mushroom to help add to our mushrooms. We'll stir this in, and then I'll go get one more thing of water, and we'll have her, and it'll go right to the skillet. It's going to be interesting to see how we transfer this to the grates to the wood-fired grill. We'll go down there. We'll have to chomp up the wood a little bit, make it into coals, make it level, put the grate down, and away we go. And it'll be nice to watch this thing sizzle and cook. We don't want to lose that one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna transfer the grate from the Weber, and it's probably maybe a little more hot than I'd like it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I got one hot pad. And we wanna get, like I said, we wanna get this down so it's level. And that's pretty close, but it's gotta be real close. I'll show you why here in a second. But I'm gonna take my stick and so you can see we're a little high up here. And I'm gonna take this brat off for a second. Just kind of, so we can, that between this log and here looks like we're about dead nuts. So we use this center right here as our hot center surface, and that's about a 10, 12 inch gradient for our cooking pan. So we're gonna take our jambalaya and bring it over and start going to town on that. Oh, this is heavy. So we've got two kinds of sausage. That's what we call it, our Wisconsin jambalaya. We got this in there. We got a brat. The newly sausage from Detroit, or from New Orleans. All our other stuff. Our rice, chicken, onions. And now I've got to add, once I get it squared away here, I got to add a big cup of water. This is what cooking out in the old West used to be like right here. This is what it's all about. You want to camp out west, do whatever, this is how you do it. This is living large with Mother Nature right here. Don't want to lose the fire, that's for sure. Let's see where we go there. This is a great camping recipe for anybody. And just use whatever meat you got. Bring some vegetables with you. And you're set. Usually, I'll add a habanero to this, which I still might. But I don't want anybody to get a bad stomach ache, if you can catch my drift, with our producers here. And anybody else who hasn't tried our stuff with the orange habaneros in it. So we'll wait on the orange habaneros. It should be a little spice with the sausages. And these, you'll see these mushrooms will cook way down once we get going here. So we'll let this sit here in a minute. And I will have to add more water eventually, but I want this all to cook down. And we'll check back here in a couple minutes. We'll get Mike's brat twisted over. And we're set. We'll check back in a few minutes. So as you can see, what a great day for our first episode of Wisconsin Grilling Up in Your Grill 116. We've made some great stuff. Finished product, we got our gourmet burgers, filet mignon. We got some appetizers here with our Habarti cheese and white mushrooms, and we've got the best Wisconsin jambalaya that there is. So we've got mushrooms, onions, two kinds of Johnsonville sausage, that's our Wisconsin take on it, chicken, rice, a fajita mix, cream of mushroom soup mixed in, and of course, a little of this. We'll put a little bit more to garnish it off. We garnished it all nice. Now we've got my co-host will come in and he'll try it too. So come on and have a little bite here, Tickle. Just don't take a bite of that because that's a habanero.
Folks, I had to work today. What do we got here? A little sausage, huh?
Just like you like it.
Well, sausage fest.
Pretty good sausage fest. There's a, I don't know if that'll help your taste buds. We got the dog waters the flowers out here. That's why they look so good.
The dog
they do look so good. What do you think? Good?
That is good. Need to spice it up a little.
That's what we got. We had to
got the habanero there,
right there. So we'll put that in for the next one. Next episode of Wisconsin Grilling 116 Up in Your Grill. We will be grilling a simple Johnsonville brat with our, of course, Wisconsin take on it. So until next time, we will see you on the patio. Grilling 101.